What's up, everybody? My name's Justin. This is another episode of Just Talking. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here and talk about my predictions for the General's Handbook 2017. Should be coming out right around the corner. I cannot be more excited for this shit. They released the table of contents. For those of you who have not seen it, I'm going to go through the list right here of every faction that's going to get new allegiance abilities. So the ones that we already have are Stormcast Sylvaneth, Caradhran Overlords, Blades of Khorne, Disciples of Tzeentch, Beastclaw Raiders, and Bone Splitters. What they're going to add are Seraphon, Fire Slayers, Free Peoples, Dispossessed, Wanderers, Hosts of Slaanesh, Clan Scryer, Clan Pestilence, Bray Herd, Slaves to Darkness, Night Haunt, Flesh Eater Court, Soul Blight, and Iron Jaws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 factions will have their own allegiance abilities. So instead of having like 5 or 6 table or armies, competitively viable at the top tables, we're going to tentatively have 20, 21 factions that are viable for a tournament. It's not just the same thing over and over and over. People are only talking, there has been variety, but it's mostly been, if it's death, it's mixed death. If it's destruction, it's mixed destruction. And then, for the most part, what I've seen is, order is Stormcast or Sylvaneth, and then, either Disciples of Tzeentch or something like that, something similar in Chaos is pretty much it. There's been some mixed Chaos, but I'm happy because diversity is always a cool thing. I like collecting a lot of armies for either Skirmish Warband or 1,000 points. That's what I like. I'm happy with most of these. What is missing, that stands out off the top of the bat is obviously there's no Nurgle. He's the only Chaos God to not get represented, which most people think that's because we're getting a Nurgle Battle Tome pretty soon, which would be super dope. I've got some Blades of Khorne. I've got a unit of Zangor, so I guess I've got a little bit of Tzeentch started. Definitely looking forward to finishing out the Tzeentch at some point to get 1,000 points. I really like the Zangor, so that's probably where I'm going to stick is with the Acolytes. Maybe get to start collecting Demon Box just because you can summon a lot, so use it there. But Nurgle's really cool. I would definitely be into, especially after seeing Tom's Nurgle list and how tanky it is. I like that tanky playstyle. That's why I'm so excited for the Fire Slayers. I just like the defensive playstyle. Obviously with Seraphon with my Saurus Guard. So yeah, Nurgle's a good thing. I'm happy about that. Also, with the potential release of a Death Rattle book, I'm personally in the belief that Death Rattle is 100% coming. I could be completely wrong, but I'm planning out my Death army will be Death Rattle. It's all skeletons, so that's pretty awesome. My predictions for all of these, they've shown us that the Wanderers get the melt away so they can shoot, or they can retreat and shoot in the same turn, any Wanderer. If the compendiums, the compendium scrolls stay a thing as far as tournaments go. Obviously, if you want to play at home, play at home. And for at home, this gives me a large incentive to actually finish my Wood Elf Wanderer section. It gives me a lot of incentive to finish that up because, in my opinion, 75% of the power of any Wanderer are the Wanderer keyword Wood Elves from the compendiums. They all have Wanderer keywords still. So as long as it's still Wanderer keyword specific, I'm good to go. And that literally makes them, in my opinion, at least A tier, if not S tier, because there's, you have things like the War Dancers, which are obviously really good. You've got the 2 different dragons, which are really good. You got the Hawk Riders. You've got, and especially the fuck are they called? The ones that come in units of 3. Way Watchers, and then they came up with a hero that's got like the same thing, but the Way Watchers they're generic battle line. They're units of 3. They're really fucking cheap. So you can, because I want to take, and obviously Glade Riders. Glade Riders are awesome to be able to. They can run and shoot, and then they can retreat and shoot. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm super happy. So I predict that Wanderers will go way up in usage, especially if you can still use compendium stuff for tournaments. I predict that Fire Slayers are obviously just going to skyrocket to the top tables. I think that Seraphon are going to skyrocket. Free Peoples, I'm not sure. It depends on what their allegiance ability is. We already know that the Wanderers have Meltaway. We know that Seraphon get the Lords of Space and Time, so they can basically, at any point in time in the game, you can either you can basically just get a free teleport, stay outside of 9 inches. So that means you can teleport your shit into where you need it or out. That gives Seraphon the thing that we need the most, which is mobility. That's why everybody who has been running Seraphon have been running the Shadow Strikes. You can deep strike the Ripperdactyls, because Ripperdactyls are tied with Bastiladon, in my opinion, for the most viable unit on a competitive level. I am not sold on this Lord Croak thing that everybody's been going around. Yeah, he can do a lot of. It's just too many points, man. I would much rather bring a Bastiladon and a Stegodon in place of that one Lord Croak. Or a Bastiladon and a Slam. Just a generic Slam. So I'm not sold on the Lord Croak thing, especially now that he's getting nerfed with the new rules of 1 to where he can't use his dice thing to affect who goes first. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on Lord Croak. I'm really not. Not for competitive play. The Dispossessed, I don't think are going to move too much, simply because a lot of their stubborn whatever rule, that's their new passive, their new allegiance ability, so they basically don't flee on battle shock tests. I don't remember the exact specifics, but it's good, not bad at all. And the Dispossessed already have good units, but they don't have good heroes. Like, they don't have that one standout hero that just, you know what I mean? They don't have the Lord Celestin on foot. They don't have a Sora Sunblood. They don't have a Grimwrath Berserker. I don't see it. I don't know. We'll see. I personally think that Fire Slayers and KO are going to overshadow Dispossessed 100 to 1. Obviously the two big things with the new GHB 2017 besides the allegiance abilities for match play so there's 3. There's got obviously all the new allegiance abilities, which we're talking about right now. The ally system. So at 2,000 points, talking about tournament stuff, obviously 2,000 points you get 400 points of allies, and it'll tell you in the book what faction can ally with what other faction, so you are limited. It's not just anything within Order can ally with anything within Order. But we do know that Stormcast can ally with any Order faction, so no matter who you're taking, you can bring 400 points of Stormcast. Guess what falls underneath that 400 points of Stormcast? Fulminators, or Dracothian Guard in general. I'm super happy because Fulminators are badass. I do think that I like the Dispossessed. That's, if I was to rub the magic lamp and get my way, that would be my Dwarden army of choice. And I would use I've already got a plan to use the Ram Riders from Forge World for the Hobbit game, to use those as, I was going to use them for open play. I just had a plan forever. was to use those as proxy Dracothian Guard already. So now that we get to use that in match play with the ally system, maybe that's a good thing. But I think that out of the three Dwarden options, as far as, as your main faction, Fire Slayers are number one, KO will be number two, and Dispossess will be, I think if you really love Dispossess, then you'll see Dispossess. Those are the people that will bring it out. But I don't think, just off face value, I don't think the Dispossessed are going to be able to compete with the Fire Slayers, because the Volkite Berserkers are just... And, you can bring Volkites, and, you can bring the Volkites and... unit of 30 Volkites and the Rune Smiter to be able to tunnel up and bring it pretty much any Order army now, which I think a lot of people are going to abuse, especially myself. Especially now that they've got the Start Collecting box. So now on eBay, for $35 on eBay, you can buy 10 Volkite Berserkers new on sprue instead of 60 retail. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, what is that? $90 or $105 before shipping, and you've got your 30 block of Volkites. Or you buy two of them and then buy Start Collecting, and there's your Rune Smite or your Magma. So now that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the one box of Start Collecting, two of the $35 on sprue, new on sprue Volkites, units of 10. Get my Rune Smiter on foot, have 30 Volkites, and I'll be able to piece that into any Order army I want. So that's going to be super, super, super awesome. Free Peoples, it depends on what they give them. Because as of right now, it's all tentative on in a tournament sense, it's all tentative on whether or not you can use the compendiums. Because as of right now, all Bretonnians have Free Peoples. So if that stays that way, and you can use them in tournament, you're going to see Bretonnians come back, baby. Like, no joke, Bretonnians will be on the table. It'll be just Free People in general. You'll be able to mix whatever you want with, new Free Guild stuff. But if they get a good Allegiance ability and artifacts and all that, their Allegiance abilities are good enough. Like, I think the new Dispossessed Allegiance abilities are underwhelming, my personal opinion, for what they've leaked. If the Free Peoples are good enough, and the compendium thing happens, where you can still use it, etc., 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 I think Free Peoples could be because they're already a popular army. So all these people who have all these big giant Free Guild or Bretonnian collections from back in the day, all you got to do is put them on round bases and you're ready to go. So that's definitely a possibility. Fire Slayers, obviously, with their new Allegiance ability where they get the magic runes, and every turn you get to roll a dice, and on a 6 you get extra shit. They gave us 3. One of them is +1 to attack, or +1 to hit, or excuse me. The first one was rerolls to hit, and then if you roll a dice. No matter what, you get to pick this rune for one turn, but you only get to pick one rune once out of 6. So 1 you're never going to use out of a game because there's 5 turns. So you pick the rune for that entire battle round. Your guys have that rune power. That's your new passive. That's your Allegiance ability for that battle round. And for the rest of the game, you cannot use the same rune. You have to choose a different one. But every turn, so no matter what, you get that rune power. But you roll a dice just to see if you get the rune power, like, extra boost. So on a 1 through 5, you just get the power generic, period. And on a 6, you get the power generic and an extra power. So one of the 3 that they showed, one of them was reroll hit rolls of 1. And then on a 6, it's reroll hit rolls of 1 and +1 attack characteristic for melee, which is fucking awesome. That means that Volkites with dual hand weapons are now like an actual thing. You can run a 30 block, and not only will they be tanky with their 4-up ward save, they will also hit like a truck. So that's a possibility. I'm not saying that the shields aren't better. I personally like the shields, but it's something to think about. But this is obviously Fire Slayer Legion, so you could have 2 blocks of 30 because they're cheap as shit. The second one was a burst of mortal wounds. It was like +1 to save or something like that, and then on a 6 you do a mortal wound to anybody within like a couple inches, like 3 inches of your guys. And then the third one I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's the type of thing where you can go look it up on the Warhammer community. So the Fire Slayers already look really good because of Volkites. Volkites are fucking awesome. And then on top of that, being able to add Allegiance abilities, and it's what I'm really curious is about to see with the Fire Slayers to make them S tier, in my opinion, are going to be all the artifacts. What can you do to buff up those magma droths? That's the heroes on magma droth. That to me is what's going to make or break them on the highest competitive level. Like I said, I'm new to the whole tournament scene. I know a lot about it just because I watch a lot of content, but I'm new as far as me actually playing, so I could be completely wrong with this. It's just me theory crafting, just me spouting shit. But from what I do know, from what I've heard, from what I've researched, that to me is what's going to make or break Fire Slayers on the highest level, is what can you do to buff those heroes to make them not just... Because the entire army is about on Volkites. They do all of the work. Like 90% of the work is in your Volkites. So, we'll see. I'm excited. Seraphon, obviously. The one thing that is missing, they told us that we're getting artifacts, warlord traits, so it's basically like command traits, and the Allegiance ability to teleport for Seraphon, the Lords of Space and Time. The one thing that's missing, which I don't know how I feel. I gotta wait till the book comes out, but on first glance, the thing that I'm actually kind of sad and a little bit irritated is that they didn't give us a spell lore. Like, we've got the Slans, which are one of the most prominent magical beings in the entire, like, lore of the Mortal Realms. But the spell sucks, and we don't get a spell lore to change. Like, I know we only get 4 wizards. We've got the Skink Star Priest, the Skink Star Seer, the Slant Star Master, and Croak. I don't like Croak, but so to me there's only 3, but technically there are 4. Point being, I feel like there should be a spell lore. I really, really do. And I'm sad that there's not. But we have to see what the artifacts are, and we have to see what the warlord traits are, because maybe that makes a difference. But I think that... And we also get 2 new battalions for Fire Slayers. I think that'll be a big deal. And we get 1 new battalion for Seraphon. So, depending on all of these scenarios, I think Seraphon and Fire Slayers minimum go, and Wanderers minimum go to A tier. Wanderers if they get the compendium ship for tournaments. I think those 3 go to A tier bare minimum. S tier maybe. That's pretty much it. Free Peoples are a big question mark because they haven't shown us anything about the Free Peoples yet, but tentatively speaking, that could be really, really good because Bretonnia, like Kingdom of Ekotane in 9th Age is, I know, a really popular, very strong, or can be a strong army. So I think that that's a possibility. Dispossessed, I don't see it. I really don't. We'll see. On to Chaos. Blades of Corn already really good. Disciples of Zinch already really good. Hosts of Slaanesh. They fucking suck. Slaanesh is terrible in Age of Sigmar. So these Allegiance abilities had better be like gold, or I don't see Slaanesh doing much anyways. But we'll see. If Slaanesh get good abilities, good artifacts, good command traits, I could see Slaanesh being really strong because they have the immobility. They don't do anything else. They move really fast. That's it. They don't shoot. As far as like doing anything worth a damn. They're not good in melee. They're not tanky. They don't do any. Yeah, they can get there before anybody else. But what do they do once they're there? They need a lot of help. Clan Scryer, already an S tier army, has been for a while. I mean, it's got counters. It's not perfect, but I think it's silly to count them out of a top tier, conversation. I don't see a world where Clan Scryer does not stay at least A or S tier, like just top tables all the time. For people who like Scryer, I think you're still going to see it. Period. Now, the other three that are in Chaos: Brayherd, Slaves to Darkness, and Pestilence. Pestilence, I give them a thumbs up already. It's not my personal style of play, but for people who like that, I think it's going to be great. God, I'm an idiot. Forgot the last three. I started by saying there's three things that they're adding: the Legion's abilities, the ally system, and the horde, the regiments they call it. So if you take a horde unit, like they showed clan rats, are instead of units of 10, now they're minimum units of 20. But if you take them out units of 40, you get a discount. So it incentivizes taking really big units. So horde armies are going to get a buff essentially. Clan Pestilence is a horde army. I don't really know where I would put Pestilence. Like, I can't put my finger on it, but they're already popular and they're already strong. It's not my personal playstyle, but if you like it, I think Pestilence are going to be pretty badass. The Brayherds as well, because of the new horde things. I could see the Beastmen doing pretty well. They've got magic. They're good in melee. It depends on whether or not they add in some of the Warherd stuff, like the Minotaurs and I mean, you could take allies, so you could take the Centaurs and stuff like that, but orange juice in the morning. I don't see the Brayherds becoming like S tier. And the Slaves of Darkness to me is the really weird one, because tentatively speaking, by the end of this year, you're going to have 5 different allegiances that a Slaves of Darkness army could take. One for each of the gods, and then just generic Chaos Slaves of Darkness. I would never have guessed that Slaves of Darkness would have got allegiance abilities, because it's just, they seem very much plug and play. You take the Slaves of Darkness units in one of your 4 faction for one of your 4 gods, and you just use them as a utility. I need a good tanky unit, Chaos Warriors. I need the Chaos Knights, or I need a wizard, or I need this, or I need that. You just take what you need, align them with Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and then go on from there and keep alliances with your Chaos God. So to me, it seems really bizarre that Slaves of Darkness is even getting allegiance abilities at all. But hey, I mean, for the people who like it, go for it. That's pretty awesome. For me personally, looking at Chaos, I like aligning to a god. I don't like Slaves of Darkness that much. I would just use them like Batman's utility belt. Use them for whatever I need. But hey, that could be really cool. They haven't really shown us anything, so I don't really. The most of what they've shown us is all the order stuff, so I can't really. Order and Death. Next up, the only thing from Destruction is Iron Jaws. No Grots, no Gutbusters, no nothing. I don't like ogres, so I'm glad to see that they don't get any love, because I fucking hate them. But for people who like ogres, I'm genuinely sorry that you don't get any more love other than Beast Claws. But Beast Claws are really badass, and if you like ogres but don't like Beast Claws, my personal opinion my first reaction would be like, what the hell's the matter with you? They're giant monsters, and they're really, really good in the game, so I don't know. But you could take them with allies, so do it that way. I don't know. I don't have a lot of love for ogres just because I don't like the models. But for people who do like them, I understand your pain by not getting any Gutbuster love. I don't see Gutbusters getting any love anytime soon with a book. The one thing I do see for destruction, people are gonna laugh at me, but I think we're gonna get some sort of grot release. I think we're gonna get a Moon Clan book. I'm calling it right now. I think we're getting a Moon Clan book with new models, plastic, sometime in 2018. That's my guess. Because sometime before next August. Because otherwise, you know what I mean, they would just put the Allegiance abilities in here. Moon Clan just won one of the GTs. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but it just won like 3-4 weeks ago. They took first place with a Squig army, which is pretty fucking awesome. Iron Jaws are getting Allegiance ability. Obviously, anybody who didn't think they were was just kind of smoking some rocks. And yeah, I'm really excited for Iron Jaws to get our Allegiance ability. I'm excited to see who Iron Jaws are going to be able to align with for allies. But I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see... They already showed us that the little snippet that you can take, like they suggested, like an Ragnarok and some Spider Riders can align with all destruction. So that's really cool because I like the spiders a lot. So maybe some Iron Jaws with an Ragnarok would be really cool. But yeah, I think we're going to see a Moon Clan release in the next year. Anytime between now and next August, I think we're going to see a Moon Clan, like, a month, like, a new models, a book. Like, I think we're going to get a, like, Zinch treatment, where we're just going to get a whole bunch of new shit mixed with the old shit. So that'll be awesome. Now for Death. This is the big one, because there's a lot of cool things in Death. There's a lot of cool things. There's only 3 Allegiance abilities. 3 factions. Nighthaunt, Flesh-Eater Courts, and Soulblight. But Death has been, in my opinion, the most that we've seen as far as, like, mixed Allegiance. Just because, especially with summoning, I think Death utilizes summoning better than anybody else. Chaos obviously have it. Seraphon have summoning. But Death, to me, is where, you know, that's who utilizes summoning the most, because almost anything is summonable by a Death Wizard. There are very few units that cannot be summoned. So that, to me, is a big strength, because you can just take, you know, a 2,000 point game, you could bring, like, 3,000 points of fucking side table shit. Even if you only have 300-400 points of, you know, reserve points. It does not say what you have to spend those points on. So you just bring, like, an extra 1,000 points worth of shit. You bring some zombies, you bring some skeletons, you bring some Necropolis Knights, you bring this, you bring that, A, B, C, D, E, and then you just summon away depending on what you need for the game. So Death has so much versatility. Soulblight artifacts are just kind of, I mean, they're yep, those are artifacts. Good for you. Nothing super crazy. The Flesh-Eater Courts seem pretty cool. They haven't shown us too much yet. But the Nighthaunt, that'll be awesome, being able to, the movement shenanigans. I think Nighthaunt are going to shoot up to S tier because they ignore Rend. Mourngulls are one of the strongest models in the game, obviously. And now they are able to essentially not teleport, but deep strike deployment. Kind of like Stormcast, only you don't have to deploy, you get to choose. So that's pretty awesome. I'm not a big fan of Flesh-Eater Courts. It's just the vampires, the skeletons, and the ghosts are more interesting for me personally. But for people who like Flesh-Eater Courts, I think they're going to have a lot of fun with the new abilities with the oh gosh, what was it called? With the Allegiance. They sort of released what the Allegiance ability is because they released one of the, like, command traits or warlord traits, and it references what seems to be the command ability, which is the feeding frenzy. So that'll be pretty dope. I'm assuming they're gonna, you know, I'm assuming we're gonna see a lot more of that, because Death's big thing is staying power. That's their claim to fame. Not only do they have bodies, not only can you summon bodies and have that versatility, most things either heal or regen. So like regenerate dead bodies. They bring, the banner of skeletons to regen D3 or D6. The flesh eater courts, they have the heroes that can summon back more, and you have to. I don't know. It's just I'm excited for it. I really am. One of my buddies is really interested in Night Haunt. He wants me to start collecting Night Haunt, but I told him, I said, look, if skeletons come out, skeletons are the way I'm going. If this new Death Rattle rumor is true, skeletons are the way that I'll be going. I'll obviously probably buy one of each of the start collecting boxes, so that way I can get a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon and some Vargheists. Out of the Night Haunt one, I'll be able to get the Mortis Engine, more Black Knights, which I'll obviously, if you're allowed to run Compendium, I will just build the Black Knights as Black Knights and then run them as Skeletal Horsemen, because Skeletal Horsemen are better. They've got a 4-up save instead of a 5-up save, and they can run and charge in the same turn. That's why Doom and Darkness loved them so much, is because they were battle line, and they were so good at doing what battle line is supposed to do, which is capture, in my opinion, 90% of battle line out there are good at capturing objectives. Like, that's what they do. There are very few battle line that don't meet that criteria. Sorry, somebody's texting me. I want to make sure it wasn't important. So yeah, obviously it's good to have multiple death units. So even if I were to run the Death Rattle, I can presumably run Archon, because if Doom and Darkness said that if he's predicting it'll be based around skeleton keyword. If that happens, I'll be over the moon, because I want to be able to run the Tomb King stuff. I want to be able to run Necropolis Knights, because those are one of the best, in my opinion, the best units that Death has. They're fucking awesome. And they're summonable. Archon is obviously a Death Lords, and any Death Lord can be run in any Death army. But if he's skeleton, he already gets in. So either way, I'll be able to run Archon. You can now run Neferata, because she's 400 instead of 420. So now she's allyable with any Death army, because she fits in that 400 block. Archon is like 260, super fucking cheap. I'm excited. I'm really, really, really excited. Now the last thing is obviously the Horde stuff. Doom and Darkness put out the video where he was complaining, rightly so, I'm not bashing him at all, I agree with almost everything he said, about how he just ran Skaven, mixed chaos basically, but Skaven with like 3 different clans. He ran Clan Eshin, Clan Scryer, and Clan Verminus, and Master Clan, so all 4, he ran 4 clans in one mixed chaos list at a tournament, and he had a lot of fun with it. And if I were to make a Skaven list, that would be the list I would bring. He brought 3 units of 10 Clan Rats, the Vermilord Deceiver with Skitter Leap, and Thankful Bone Ripper. I love that model. I would love to bring him. And then everything else on his list was Stormfiends. He brought like 12 Stormfiends or some shit. And to me, that's what I would bring in Skaven. Just the big badasses of the elite army. That's not possible anymore, because Skaven Clan Rats are now minimum units of 20. And they're still the same price. Bringing 20 Clan Rats before and bringing 20 Clan Rats on book release, you're still paying the same price. It's 120 for 20 instead of 60 for 10. So I put a comment on one of his videos, and he said that he would do a video response. He said I was spot on, so that's pretty cool. Can't wait to see what he has to. I'm curious to see his thoughts on it. But what I said was, it seems like GW is nerfing the mixed list. Like they are incentivizing the ghettoization. They're incentivizing faction-specific play. That's how it seems that GW wants this game to be played, is sub-faction. Like, if you're going to take the Beast Claw Raiders, you're going to take Beast Claw Raiders Allegiance and then ally in whatever else you need. And that's going to be more beneficial than taking Mixed Destruction, where you take Moon Clan Grots or Savage Orcs and mix this and mix, and you just take the best of all worlds, because that was too efficient, I guess is the most apt description. I don't want to say filthy or disgusting, because I mean it's a game. It's legal. You can't really call it broken. I mean, it was kind of broken in my opinion, but it was too efficient. And I think GW realized that, and that's why they're nerfing Mixed Allegiance. So now if you want to do mixed, you got to use the allies. And I think you can still use mixed, like you're still able to run Mixed Destruction, Mixed Chaos, but it's going to be harder to, you know what I mean? It's going to make it more difficult. Not to say that it's not viable or can't be viable or won't be viable. It's just more difficult than it is right now. This time next month, it will be way more difficult to run those kind of lists or to build those kind of lists, because it costs more points and you have to bring more models. And the fact that there's no Verminous, because they showed the Verminous thing, and there's no extra Verminous units, and there's no Verminous Allegiance abilities, so it's just kind of, that's why I came up with that hypothesis, that they're not targeting, it's not like they're trying to buff Verminous. They are trying to nerf Mixed Chaos. They're trying to nerf Mixed Destruction. They're trying to nerf Mixed Death. They're trying to nerf Mixed Order. They want you to bring a sub-faction. They want you to be like, okay, I am a Stormcast Eternals player. I am a Blades of Corn player. I am a Nighthaunt player. I am an Ironjaws player. Whatever you play. But I'm allying in this, that, you know, A, B, C, D, whatever it is that you like, whatever it is you think that is good, whatever you think is efficient, etc. They want you to stick within your sub-faction. And I like that. I love the sub-faction. And I don't think that I'm going to ally everything. Like Tyler Emerson last night on Warhammer Weekly said, with his Sylvaneth, he's a Sylvaneth player, they were talking about allies, and he's like, I don't really like the ally. Like, I just want Sylvaneth. So, and for me, I like the ally system, because it makes things that are a little bit more shitty, or a little bit less efficient, I guess is the proper vernacular, less efficient sub-factions, it gives them the more efficient options or possibilities. So, I'm a big fan of the ally system. I'm a big fan of the new Allegiance abilities from what they've shown us. I'm a big fan of the factions that they've shown. But I'm not totally sold on the minimum battle line units being increased. Like Marauders going up from presumably 10 to 20. I would be shocked if Marauders stay at 10. I'd be shocked if Zombies stayed at 10. I'd be shocked if Skeletons stayed at 10 for minimum unit size. Ghouls, I could see at 10. The thing that I'm worried about the most, the thing that affects me, are Skinks. Because my one true love are Seraphon. And I've made so many lists where I use minimum units of 10 Skinks. And I've made lists where I use like a unit of 40 Skinks. And I do the giant horde to bubble wrap my Kroxigor. And then Kroxigor swing over the front line. I mean, they've done it for years. Anybody who's ever played Warhammer in the past 10 years has seen the, you know, even in Ninth Age with the Caimans, it's the same thing. So I like that, and I've made lists around that. But to say that you have to take Skinks at 20, and they haven't released it, said it, but I'm just assuming the worst. I would be very sad if Skinks come out at 10, or at 20. Minimum unit size is 20. I'd be very sad. Because that's 160 points, unless the points change. Because it's right now it's 80 for 10. And minimum units of 10 Skinks are worthwhile because they have the retreat move. When they, instead of piling in, they can just back up and they can kite backwards, and they can kind of run you around the board with it, and that's super useful. and it makes really good generic battle line to just take 10 skinks. But maybe they make them just Seraphon battle line. I don't know. Saurus Warriors also, minimum units of 10 are really good. And if they make them minimum units of 20, I'm not going to like it. I cannot. That's a lot of points. It's 200 points, presumably, because they're 100 points for 10 right now. I think that Saurus Warriors should stay. I think that Skinks and Saurus Warriors are going to get the Horde bonus. They're going to get the Regiment, which is awesome. Because I want to run a block of like 40 Saurus Warriors, get them cheaper, maybe like 300 for 40. Am I being a little bit? Am I getting a little bit too excited with that number? I think that'd be awesome. Fire Slayers, I think that Volkites are going to be minimum units of 10 instead of minimum units of 5. It just makes sense. I don't really see a problem with it. So it'll be like 120 for 10 instead of 60 for 5. I think any battle line that's generic battle line that has 60 points at the moment will be increased to units of 5 to units of 10, or units of 10 to units of 20. Marauders, Clan Rats, Skeletons, Zombies, or Skeletons are 80, but you get my point. Skeletons I could see staying at 10 just because they are at that 80 point. That's where I'm kind of tentative on Skinks. But things like Dryads, I see staying at 10. I'm not really sure what else I would see being increased. Blood Reavers, I guess, could be increased to 20, but I don't know. That would be a big boon to a lot of Khorne players, is to see Blood Reavers increased to 20. If that happens, you're just going to see, in my opinion, you're going to see a lot more Blood Warriors, because they're generic battle line too, and they're units of 10. So, or units of 5, excuse me, 100 for 5. I think you're just going to see a lot more Blood Warriors. Ironjaws, the Ardboys, I said this in a video a long time ago. I predicted / begged that I said it was kind of weird that they were Ironjaws Allegiance battle line instead of generic Destruction battle line. I think they are going to do that, and Tom said it on the show last night. He kind of called it too, and I was like, hey, I'm all for that. And I think they are going to stay at 10, but they're going to get Regiment bonus. Other than that, I can't see maybe some of the gores and stuff get bumped up to 20 instead of 10, but other than that, I don't see too many things that pop out as like, oh yeah, this is definitely. But zombies, they're going to get up to minimum units of 20. I would be shocked if they're not units of 20. So yeah, that's kind of my overall summation of. This is just predictions. When the book comes out, obviously I'm going to buy it day one, and I'm going to do another video to see how close I was. Once I read through all the abilities, maybe I'll change my mind. Like, oh wow, these abilities are a lot better than I thought they were. This army is going to go a lot farther up the tier or down the tier than I thought. Stuff like that, especially when the new points are in there too. The points are going to be a big thing too, but that's going to take a while to kind of look through. But yeah, please let me know. As always, comments, questions, concerns, worries, or wonders down below. Video responses. Let me know what I want. I want to engage more. I want to talk with people. I want to know what your guys' opinion are. If you think I'm spot on, if you think I'm batshit crazy, Justin, you're retarded, you're completely wrong. Anywhere in between, let me know down below. I just want to start up more conversations about this new stuff and get more people into the more competitive side of Age of Sigmar. So until next time, guys, I'm Justin, and have a good one. Peace.